You should be thanking God that you live in this country instead of wanting to take your people and moving to another country with all the opportunities that you have here.
Yes. I think we've missed the point here. We've talked about racism. There is no racism in this heart. What we have missed the point on is your children and our children are in jail and are on drugs because of drugs. We need to talk about how to get our children off of drugs.
Uniting against the common enemy.
Absolutely. We need to unite. When we get our children off of drugs, I think our children will be talking together, and your 600,000 young men will not be in jail any longer.
Yeah, well, of course, the Muslims went into a section of Washington that actually had become an open-air drug market. And by the grace of God, these young men took over that section, which had housed 9,000 human beings. And within a month, there were no drugs sold in that area, and the Muslims have held that area for 2 years, relatively drug-free and crime-free, with no help from the government and very little help from others. We've done it with a word. If you could just calm the emotion, the fears, and listen to a word that can uplift not only black, but it can uplift your people as well. Maybe we could solve the drug problem in the United States.
Sir.
I'd just like to point out to the lady who had said about blacks returning to black. I am one of those people who went to a white Catholic Jesuit college. And I had that fear when I went away also of coming back to New York City. I saw the media, I saw blacks killing, I saw blacks doing all kind of stuff that just wasn't pleasing to my eye. But when I got back here, when I went back into Harlem, I saw the reason for some of that. I saw how the media took certain things out of context. A lot of whites are talking about fear. The fear is not black itself, it's not black people, it's the fear that you see. There's nothing to fear at all. A lot of people are not going to Harlem, they're not going to the ghettos because they fear I don't know what. But the blacks are some of the most passive people you will come across. We have tolerated a lot, and we continue to. There's nothing to fear but fear itself.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I would just like to ask Mr. Farrakhan if he could comment on the vast gulf in the understanding and the perception between blacks and whites. And what do you think is the next step to advance this dialogue that seems to have started?
The gulf is created by improper education, environment, and the stimulus that comes from improper education and environment. If you just look at the Constitution of the United States as a legal document that called us 3/5 of a human after we were robbed of the knowledge of self, then you look at a religion, Christianity. I'm not saying the teachings of Jesus now, but I'm talking about the way Christianity has been used. I was talking to a Catholic priest a few weeks ago, telling him how black folk were taught that our blackness is something of a divine curse, that we are the children of Ham. And Ham was one of the sons of Noah who mocked Noah in his drunkenness, and Noah cursed him. And of course, he was doomed from that point to be a hewer of wood and a drawer of water. And so today, black folk think of themselves in a servitude posture. Black folk think of the color of their skin as a curse. They think of the texture of their hair as something terrible, the thickness of our lips or the shape of our noses. This is not because we desire to think this way, but we live in America where white standards of beauty have been imposed upon us. Now how do you break this? By telling the truth. The truth is, black people have a beauty that is ours. It is uniquely ours. You have your beauty as white people. As you learn to appreciate yourself and we learn to appreciate ourselves, then maybe we can appreciate one another. But truth has to be told. The truth is, according to your own scholars, your own scientists, Mendel said, black skin is dominant, white skin is recessive. Dark eyes are dominant, light eyes are recessive. Mendel said you can get the recessive from the dominant, but you can't get the dominant from the recessive. That's Mendel. Dr. Leakey was looking for the origin of human beings. He went to Europe, but he didn't stay there long. He kept right on moving, and he found the origin of man in Africa. Now some of your scholars of genetics have taken the DNA and have traced the origin of human beings back to the black woman. Look, we are the father of all human beings. Tell it from the mountain, the black people are the original people of the earth. That doesn't make us better, but it says we are your father. We are your mother, and you should honor your father and mother that your days may be long.
And we'll be back in just a moment. We're back with the Reverend Mr. Louis Farrakhan, who sounded awful close to William Shockley on the last answer.
But William Shockley was telling a falsehood while we are telling a manifest truth. And this truth, white people know, you scholars know it, but you've hidden it from black people and hidden it from your own people. So if you know that you come from us, then maybe you would respect your root a little better.
Yeah.
And if we knew that you came from us, maybe we would respect ourselves a lot better. So it works for both of us. It's good to know the truth. The truth will make you free.
Is it your feeling that AIDS is a manufactured disease which has hit especially in an especially horrendous way among people of color, among African Americans, engineered by a white person?
It is becoming increasingly clear in medical circles that the configuration of that virus is not a natural configuration, but that it is a made virus. Now, this should not come as a shock to you, because viruses have been used for years to get rid of unwanted and useless populations. I think General Amherst sent smallpox up in blankets to the Indians. And I think you will find that 100 black men in a Tuskegee experiment were injected with the most virulent form of syphilis and allowed to cohabit with whomsoever they would, and never were to be treated for syphilis. This is reality. Now, it was 400. Now we're looking at not only biological warfare, but we're looking at chemical warfare that is being used in crack cocaine and now in ice, being used on black and white. And I'm telling you, if America doesn't wake up, your country will be lost from within.
You believe?
I believe it.
You believe this is true?
I do believe it. Because if you
How
remember...
many white folks are going to sit still over
Wait
this
a minute.
kind of an
Can I
indictment
finish?
without proof, my
Can I
goodness?
finish this? Do you remember in The Godfather, and everybody that saw The Godfather will remember this, he said, only give the drugs to the black because they do not have any hope. Isn't it true? How many can deny it?
Well, and therefore what? Therefore it's true?
No, that is true. Yes, I do.
All right, hang on just a second. Yes, yes.
I'd just like to say that I have nothing against you or any of your brothers, or should I say puppets, that react this way. But Now, if you're talking about 1 in every 4 black men are in jail and everything, I mean, I think we should help ourselves, you know? I mean, if you want, we pull together and get out of this thing, out of, you know, how you think of blacks and how you think of whites. But, you know, God said all men are created equal, so why don't we feel that way?
Yeah. Why was it necessary to kind of insult the
way they act when we talk. When white people talk, they always act down the way white people
you have a reserved religion in your own...
I'm Catholic.
You're Catholic. Would you call all the people who stand up at St. Patrick's Cathedral puppets of Cardinal O'Connor?
No.
Why not? Why not, he wants to know?
I'm not.
It's not. See, they see that as a double standard. In other words, when a black person supports a black person,
no, but
they're
the way
puppets.
they're talking down to us.
Well, what did they say? What was said that bothered you the most? Let's talk about it.
No, the way they look at us.
The way they look at you.
So
it's not something... You see what I mean? You want to talk to him? Yeah, okay, hang on just a second.
I would like to know, excuse me, I'm speaking to you. Why is there such a problem when we speak to you about how we feel? Why is there such a problem with that? Why you can't understand about how we feel? We have to deal with how you feel. We have to hear what you have to say about us, and we deal with it. How come you can't deal with it? You can't deal with it. You're not dealing with it.
I can deal with it. I think we should get together, though.
Don't insult us then, okay? We don't insult you. Don't insult us, okay? Just don't insult us.
I don't think he meant to insult you.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. He did insult us.
Yeah.
By calling us puppets. We are no puppets. We are human beings. They Muslims. We are black people. You're white people. That's all to it.
See, this just carries on what we say, okay? The fact that this white man can come out and call some people puppets. The only follow order functionaries in here is you and your people. Because if you had some conscience and some morality, you wouldn't kill black folks. A black kid wouldn't have to die in Bensonhurst or Howard Beach, okay? Because you would have said, well, I'm a man, I don't have to go with that group, okay? Because a man stands alone. Now, I call your attention. You say we're puppets. Why are they puppets, okay? I'm a black reporter. I'm no puppet. I call it for what it is, okay? I respect you.
I just want to say one thing. If Gotti was sitting up there and he had his men around, Gotti, John Gotti, okay? John Gotti, you wouldn't open your mouth up and say anything. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't even break breath to say anything about Gotti men, you know? But you feel that these black men standing up here, you feel that you don't have to fear them.
May I?
Yeah.
I would like to ask if all of his followers agree with everything that he says, or if some of them think for themselves. That's what I want to know.
See, now, Miss, there are people in here. Would you talk to people who are not, quote unquote, followers of Farrakhan and answer that lady's question? Yeah.
Not who are. He wants to know if everybody agrees with you. That was the question. Yes.
I'm a member of the Black Press. My name is Totley Brown. I work for National Black Network. I am not a follower of Minister Farrakhan, and I am tired. I am very tired of hearing you people talk to black people like we have feelings. Black people have feelings. We are tired of listening to the way you teach it, the way you want it, the way you deal with it. I have also worked for the white media. In the white media, I have heard them take out black stories. And I have said to them, why are you taking out a black story? I'd like to hear it. And their attitude was, well, there aren't enough people who want to hear it. Well, I do, and I know plenty of other people who want to, too.
One of the problems I have is, and I think most young people and elderly people have, is the concept of the basic bias. We recognize that there are millions and millions and millions of fine, beautiful, attractive black men in America throughout the world. Everybody will agree with that. But why should I pick up a magazine, a People magazine or something, and see Sean Connery as the sexiest man alive, John F. Kennedy Jr., the sexiest man alive? What happened to Denzel Washington? What happened to Minister Farrakhan? What happened to all of the brilliant men? Not on top of that, we talked about Elvis Presley gets his new show, but Little Richard is still alive on the planet Earth.
1 second. Yes, ma'am. I know you'll be brief.
I just want to say this.
many of us are not in the Nation of Islam, but we're followers of Louis Farrakhan. Whites are telling us he's not like Dr. King. He's exactly like Dr. King. Dr. King fought for justice. If whites loved Dr. King, they should have kept Dr. King. They killed Dr. King. Dr. King today is Louis Farrakhan, fighting for justice and fighting for the rights of our people. For Christians and all of us, follow Louis Farrakhan.
Yes.
One person killed Dr. King. There's many of white people
that's true. You know, white people
want
kill.
to like
One person
come
killed.
together, and blacks and whites want to be together, and you're just.
Maybe you have an obligation to these folks, just as it was, I think, imprudent for us to suggest that you're puppets. It's similarly imprudent for you to suggest that white people killed Martin Luther King. Not a bad point.
Not true.
Well, hey, I want to say...
I'd like to say, just as it is imprudent to say that white people killed Martin Luther King, it is also imprudent to say that the Nation of Islam killed Malcolm X. Okay?
But you go beyond that. You said white people killed Malcolm X.
I didn't say that. I said the government of the United States had a hand in the assassination of Malcolm X.
I'd just like to say I think you should be thanking God that you live in this